Hi everyone, Alyssa here from Becoming Memories. Thank you so much for joining me for another process video. This process video is a layout that I called A Big Dream. It is a birthday layout of my son. And there's a reason that I'm starting here with a 12 by 12 mixed media background already completed. And that is because basically I did this background and then I completely gave up on it and decided that it was a bunch of junk and I couldn't use it. And then I decided I was going to give it another shot after seeing something that Missy Whidden did. And so what I have there is a 12 by 12 white cardstock with a brick stencil with some black glimmer mist on it. And then I used that Distress Oxide that I showed you up there, and it's sitting up there in the corner of the screen, to just kind of make some blue smudges around where my photos are going to sit. So I pulled out these die cut pieces that I made with my silhouette ages ago, and I have been kind of keeping them in that little container for such a time as this, I suppose. And so I pulled those out, and then I also have these washi tape circles, and this is something that I did before I even created that background because, like I said, it was inspired by Missy and a layout that she did. And so I'm now just kind of messing around with them and trying to figure out how I want this design to work. I just took a piece of white cardstock and some of my favorite washis, some that I felt like were suitable for a boy layout, and especially kind of a celebratory birthday type layout. And I just put strips of them down a piece of paper, and then I used my circle stencil to trace circles and cut them out. So I have 3 different size circles, all covered in washi, and some of the colors that I ended up using on the washi I'm going to end up trying to hide because they don't really go with my finished layout, but that's okay. Adapt as you go, right? So as I was working with all this washi, I realized that the Cool Kid collection from Crepe Paper had embellishments that were going to be like a perfect match for all of the colors I have going on here. And so I pulled those out and put that little chipboard dinosaur and then that little boy saying. And I have at this point only that word dream, and that was something I cut out on my silhouette again ages ago and stored in that little box that I just keep those little bits and pieces in for like once upon a time or one day when I finally get around to using them. So I'm attempting to really dig into some of my older stash here. And so this is, I believe, the original Jen Hadfield collection from Pebbles. And I believe it was 2014 that this collection came out. And so there are some colors here that are compatible with what I'm working with. And so I pulled those out as well. And so this little card says Make a Wish. And I'm just kind of fidgeting around, and here's where I decide to start inking all of the edges of these white silhouette pieces with this Distress Oxide. I had it sitting there on my desk, and I normally am not a big edge inker, but it helped that stark white of those die cuts to blend in with, well, not to blend in, but to kind of like not feel so out of place and so stark on that messy background. So I've decided that I like where these washi circles are going, and so I'm just using my ATG to kind of stick them down and layer them back in. And I have a problem when I make a layout of sometimes not gluing things down, and then I take everything off to glue it down, and then I can't get it back where I want it. And so I'm trying not to do that here. I'm kind of working my way around the photo and doing a piece or two at a time so that I don't lose the arrangement that I had. So I'm sticking this dinosaur down with some foam adhesive to kind of make it pop up off of that washi tape circle that it's sitting on and give it a little more definition. And here I go again, fidgeting with the washi circles because I do that. I fidget. I am very much a fidgeter, and sometimes I will fidget with a layout for hours and frustrate myself. So I don't really recommend that, but it is kind of how things tend to go for me. So I'm putting on these little arrows back on, And I'm pretty sure at this point that that's where I want that title to go, or that big word dream. It's not my complete title, but pretty sure that's where I want it to go. So I'm kind of leaving it there and trying to kind of work around that. So I've decided I need a little bit more yellow. I have some yellow in a little bit of the washi, but it's not, a lot of the yellow washi isn't actually showing up in the way that I have those circles positioned. And so I took that saying there that says happy birthday, and I cut it out of that cut apart sheet and put it there at the top. So here I am tapping my fingers, trying to figure out what happens next. I tend to, if I'm going to get stuck on a layout, it very often happens at this stage where I'm probably 70% done and I don't know what the finishing touches are, and I'm not quite sure how to finish it off. So I'm just still kind of fidgeting. I decide that Make-A-Wish is going to indeed stay up there. And so I put foam adhesive on that as well. And then I decide that those arrows need foam adhesive as well. So here I go. Thankfully, you're watching me in about 3 times the speed. Attach all of those with little foam dots. And these are from Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L, and they actually come in a combination pack, or at least I bought them in a combination pack where there's a sheet of larger ones, which would have been far more convenient for this, but I happen to be out of the larger ones at this point. So I'm using up the smaller ones, which means 5 or 6 on a little arrow, but you know, you do make do with what you got, right? So I'm gonna finish now attaching all the washi circles. And I have intentionally kept all of those washi circles flat and used only the ATG and not put any foam on those, because I really want those to be more of background, like almost taking the place of a background patterned paper rather than like popping off the page embellishments, if that makes sense. Like when you pop something off, it definitely starts to feel more like an embellishment and less like background, right? So I'm going to get that last arrow on, and now I'm kind of contemplating again. I'm looking for my adhesive for that word dream, my liquid adhesive. And I have a problem with liquid adhesive, I will tell you. I don't think I've actually found it yet. Oh, I'm going to stop and line up those arrows because I started to think they looked like they might be a little crooked and not straight across. All right, so I brought out some more stickers. Those are me and my big ideas, some really old chipboard stickers from 2011, I think. And I used that star there up in the upper right-hand corner with the yellow star on it. And just another circular element there to add, to bring in more of the orange up there into that corner. And so now I'm using thickers. These are the thickers that are foam. They go with the Cool Kid collection from Crepe Paper. And I'm using my ruler just to line those up, and it says a big. And then obviously that die cut word dream is still going to go there. So, okay, so I was telling you I had this problem with liquid adhesive, right? I had bought all of this zip dry 5 years ago. We moved overseas and I bought a whole bunch of it because I was scared to death that I would not be able to find any good adhesives overseas, which actually proved to be true, and I was glad I did it, but I overbought, and I'm still trying to use up the very last bottle. And so what happens is every single time I use it, I have to dig out adhesive out of the nozzle. And I really think that is pretty much because it's 5 years old. Not really, because my recollection is that when zip dry is newer, it does not have that problem. And so once I get this bottle used up, I'm going to go buy a new bottle and I'll report back. But I'm pretty sure that that's the case. So at this point, I'm really liking this layout. I like a lot of the way that the background is working. I like the die cuts I put on there. Basically, I'm enjoying the overall effect. I decide to pull out my black pen here and do a little bit of doodling around those arrows, as well as, you'll see here in a minute, I'm going to also doodle on the title, Dream, and on the Make-A-Wish square. So you're watching me here again in 3 times. This took a while, but I don't know about you, but I kind of enjoy those little doodling things, and I haven't doodled on a layout in years. Like, I don't know what it was exactly that gave me the idea to do that, but I'm glad I thought of it. And maybe it was because the layout that inspired this layout from Missy Whidden, she used black thread and did a bunch of machine stitching, and I was too lazy to pull out my sewing machine, and I don't have any black thread, so maybe this was kind of my substitute for that. So I'm using a pen from Faber-Castell. It is a Pitt pen, P-I-T-T, and it is a felt tip pen, and they're some of my favorite pens. They are very much permanent, and they don't smudge, so you can, like, if you have a journaling sticker or something, you know, have you ever had those journaling stickers where the surface is kind of shiny or gloss, or it's not like paper, it has like a sealer of some kind on it when it's a sticker? I'm not making any sense there, but maybe you know what I mean. Anyway, you can use these pens on there and they will not smudge. They dry very quickly and they don't rub off. So I really like that. So now I'm doodling on this word dream, and because it's such a delicate die cut, I didn't really stick it down all that well. Like, I only put adhesive on the wider portions, and so I'm having to be very careful with my doodling that I don't like pull and tear the die cut. So this is why this is taking me a little bit longer, but in the end I really like the effect of it, so it was totally worth it. So at this point I'm almost done. I'm kind of thinking that I want to add some journaling, which is unusual for me. I really got out of my comfort zone on this layout, and I did several things that I haven't done in a while, and I was really happy in the end that I was able to use the background that I thought was a complete disaster, and it ends up turning into something I really like. So all right, so there I am, finished with the doodling. I'm going to take another flip through these stickers and see if there's anything. I don't think I end up pulling anything out of there. Oh, look, I do. But I don't think I end up using that. Or did I? I do end up using that. Look at that. It's been a week or two since I made this layout. All right, so I'm just using my ruler now. I'm going to draw a few lines for journaling down there at the bottom, right under that chipboard piece that says boy noun with the definition. And I'm going to keep my journaling in a pretty small area because I kind of want to use it to fill in that gap underneath that chipboard sticker. So here I go, writing in super speed. And I'm pretty sure as soon as I finish this, I'm going to put some enamel dots on there. And maybe you'll get a peek of my enamel dot collection here. I also kind of, yep, there we go. This is my enamel dot collection. So I'm just kind of sorting through to find something that will work. I don't know about you, but I seem to struggle finding enamel dots that are in primary colors. A lot of them are not primary, and so this was, I didn't have a lot of enamel dot options on this one. But I did find these navy blue matte ones, and I really don't know what manufacturer they're from. I got them from AliExpress, and I ordered, I think, maybe 20 sets of, or 20 sheets of enamel dots for about $17. So even though you have to wait a couple weeks, it was totally worth it. So here I have a navy blue Tattered Angels mist and a red Color Theory mist from Studio Calico, and I'm just going to add a few spatters to kind of, what I'm trying to do here is take that black mist that's all around the edge, which is basically what was around the edge of my stencil when I created that, and kind of like help it blend a little bit more, help the misting that's around that edge to sort of blend with what's inside that border, if that makes sense. I like the fact that it's kind of a frame around there, but I also like kind of making sure that it's not. And there I'm just pointing out to you that the frame, like the bricks themselves really don't show up anymore, but that frame kind of like sets off the layout. So here is the pictures. Here are some close-ups. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I love this layout. And so thank you so much for taking time to watch. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for a new video, and I will see you soon.